what's up, gamers? Well, since I did a top 10 list on the final list on best Wii games ever made, since obviously the Nintendo Wii has officially closed its doors for good, I guess obviously, like I said, since the Wii U, and pretty much all the next-gen consoles are pretty much set to make their debut, but now I'm getting carried away. I figured I'd do a little top 5 list on what I think the most, well, pretty much overlooked, underrated game titles on Nintendo Wii are, in my opinion. Okay, this is just my opinion, don't go ape shit, and I'm sure you probably heard me say this many times before. But these are the most, in my opinion, top 5 most underrated, most underappreciated Wii games, in my opinion, that I actually enjoyed despite not being superb or the best. But they're still playable, enjoyable. And most of these might be considered like third-party games, even though, like I said, the Wii has very poor third-party support and lack of Wi-Fi. But, hey, who says that all third-party supported games on Nintendo Wii have to suck? Not all of them do, right? So, here goes. Number 5. Wii Ski. Yeah. If you see my review on this, I'm not sure if I re-uploaded it or not, but yeah, it obviously says Wii W-E, not W-I-I, obviously. I'm assuming due to the lack of third-party support, like I said before in that review. I'm not sure if I re-uploaded it or not, but it's good, trust me. The controls work, if you can get them to work. It's a very fun game, it's enjoyable, if you can find yourself, able to get used to the controls or not. And hey, with winter coming up, the holidays coming up, and Christmas and so forth, who couldn't enjoy a good game about winter sports, right? Especially skiing and going down the slopes and doing all kinds of different moves and such. It can be enjoyable, trust me. It's way better than all those other crappy winter sports games on Nintendo Wii. Trust me, it is. Number 4. Ninja Turtles Smash Up. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. It's a Super Smash Bros. Brawl ripoff, right? Yeah. I've seen plenty of blatant ripoffs in my day, trust me. But this one is not really that bad, honestly. Yeah, of course, it's nowhere near as good as Super Smash Bros. Brawl. That game is far superior, and most of the Ninja Turtle games, and even the newer shows today, are not really quite as good as the old ones. Obviously, my favorite is Turtles in Time when it comes to Ninja Turtles video games, and I still prefer the old cartoon. But this one actually isn't that bad. And surprise, surprise, it's actually one of those few that has Wi-Fi compatibility. I guess they gotta copy Brawl in some way possible, right? But, yeah, overall, good game. If you can give it a shot, go for it. If not, yeah, I respect that. You like Brawl better. Number 3. The Godfather Blackhand Edition. Yeah, I know. I know what you're gonna say. On Nintendo Wii, how could it be done? Well, believe me, it has motion controls. For the most part, they work. But occasionally they can be a little unresponsive and infuriating, but for the most part they work. And EA, I can give them credit, they did a bang-up job on this one. And of course the sequel. I didn't upload the review yet. Probably won't. I might give just a brief review on it. But believe me, these games are great. Yes, the graphics on Nintendo Wii, of course, are limited. They're not quite as good. They do leave a lot to be desired. But if you can get over that, it's a very enjoyable game. It has the open world of New York City and whatever year it took place, and has all the cutscenes. And if you love the movie, go for it then. It's got that typical GTA style shoot 'em up and open world and getting the police after you and such. It's a very enjoyable gangster shoot 'em up game. Number 2. Mario Super Sluggers. Yeah, of course there's no Wi-Fi on this one, right? But who the hell cares? It's baseball, right? Some people argue that it's not as good as the GameCube predecessor, but I think they're wrong. Yeah, of course there are a few quirks with the outfielding and batting and such with the controls, but if you can get over all that, like all these other third-party support games, but this is actually a Nintendo license. Yeah, that's why it's considered underrated. Because, well, despite the few control problems, like I said, in the story mode with unlocking all the characters might be a little too easy. But there's more characters, and there's more stadiums. And when you can change between day and night mode. I mean, who couldn't argue? That looks freaking awesome. It looks beautiful. And playing night games, I mean, that wasn't in the predecessor on GameCube. I mean, yeah, the GameCube version was better on some ways, and the controls did suffer a few problems on that version too, and of course this one, but believe me, man, it's freaking baseball. Playing the American pastime with the Mario Brothers. What could be better, right? And number one, Metroid The Other End. Okay, let's be honest. It's not as good as the Prime games. I'll agree with that. And yes, I agree. Sometimes when you get to it, obviously with the cutscenes that are unskippable, I get it. I hate watching the cutscenes too and not being able to skip through them. And sometimes when you go into 2D side-scrolling, I can understand it's not as good as being in a basic first-person perspective like in the Prime games. But it could still be enjoyable. Trust me, it's not that bad. It's Metroid. I mean, what more do you want out of it? I do agree the story mode and gameplay may not be as interesting as the Prime games, but that's why I consider it the most underrated Wii game ever made. So, that's my list. Comment if you want, but please, as I said, and you probably heard me saying this before many times, avoid negatively commenting. Okay? This is just my list, as I said before. Till next time, happy gaming.
Get